Please video like and subscribe this channel. The transport shuttle was nearly empty, which was exactly why I'd chosen it. Mid-cycle departures from Station Halcyon were notorious for delays, recycled air, and awkward silence, but they were cheap, quiet, and anonymous. After 12 hours of cargo inspections and incident reports, anonymity was all I wanted. I dropped into the last row, window side, and set my bag at my feet. The stars beyond the viewport smeared into pale streaks as the shuttle disengaged from the dock. No announcements. No ceremony. Just the low hum of engines and the soft flicker of cabin lights. That's when she walked in. At first glance, she looked like any other off-world traveler, slim build, neutral-toned cloak, hair pulled back simply. But something about her posture made people unconsciously straighten when she passed. Not fear. Not awe. Recognition. She scanned the cabin, her gaze calm and deliberate. Then, of all the seats available, she chose the one beside me. The empty seat beside me. I felt it before I understood it. A subtle pressure in the air, like gravity leaning closer. She sat, smoothing her cloak, and stared straight ahead. "Ah," I said, because silence suddenly felt rude. "Hi." She turned her head slowly. Her eyes were dark, reflective, like polished obsidian catching starlight. "Hello," she replied. Her accent was soft, carefully modulated. Too careful. I nodded and looked back out the window, telling myself not to stare, not to ask questions, not to be that guy. Off-world etiquette 101, mind your own business. Except. There was a faint metallic glimmer at her temple. Just for a second. Like a reflection that shouldn't exist. I frowned slightly. She noticed. "You saw nothing," she said gently. My mouth opened. Closed. Okay. A beat passed. Then she smiled. Not royal. Not commanding. Just tired. "Thank you," she added. That was how it started. Her name, she told me after a few minutes, was Lysa. Just Lysa. She said she was traveling for personal reasons. I said I was a logistics officer with no interesting stories. Both statements were technically true. The shuttle slipped into the quiet rhythm of long-distance transit. Passengers dozed. Lights dimmed. Somewhere up front, someone snored softly. Lysa folded her hands in her lap. "You chose the back," she observed. "People who want to be unseen often do. Or people who like legroom," I replied. She laughed quietly. "That too." Silence returned, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was companionable. Rare, that. After a while, she asked, "Do humans often travel alone?" "Most of us," I said. "Hard to coordinate across 300 systems." She nodded. "On my world, solitude is considered dangerous." I glanced at her. "How so?" "If one is alone, there is no one to remind them who they are," she said. "Power fills the gaps." That was an odd thing to say. Before I could ask, the shuttle shuddered violently. Warning lights flared. A sharp alarm cut through the cabin. "Attention passengers," the AI announced, voice clipped. "We are experiencing an unscheduled intercept. Please remain seated." Intercept. I felt my stomach drop. Through the viewport, a sleek black vessel slid into view, matching our trajectory with predatory ease. No registry markings. No hails. Pirates. Or worse. Around us, passengers stirred, fear rippling through the cabin. Security drones descended from ceiling compartments, weapons humming uncertainly. Lysa did not move. She only sighed. "They found us sooner than expected," she murmured. "Us?" I asked. She closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them again, they glowed faintly, just enough to be unmistakable. "Royal light." "I am sorry," she said. I hoped to spare you this. Before I could respond, the shuttle lurched as a boarding clamp engaged. The lights dimmed further. The air grew heavy, charged. Armed figures breached the forward hatch, tall, armored beings with crests of hardened bone and shock blades crackling in their hands. Not pirates. Enforcers. Every instinct screamed at me to get down, stay quiet, disappear. Lysa stood. The cabin fell silent. She reached up and touched her temple. With a soft, chiming sound, the shimmer dissolved. The crown revealed itself. It wasn't a physical object so much as a construct of light and gravity, a living symbol hovering just above her brow, intricate and impossible. The air bent around it. My chest tightened, like standing too close to a storm. The enforcers froze. Passengers gasped. Some fell to their knees without knowing why. Lysa straightened, every trace of weariness gone. When she spoke, her voice carried not loud, but absolute. "Lower your weapons," she said. They did. "I am Sovereign Lysera of the Aurelian Compact," she continued. "And you are trespassing on civilian transport." One of the enforcers stepped forward, trembling. "Your Majesty," the council decreed. "The council has no authority over my movement," she cut in. "Nor over whom I choose to sit beside." Her gaze flicked to me, just for a moment. Heat rushed to my face. Half the cabin stared. The enforcer swallowed. "You left without escort. Without ceremony. The throne is empty by my design," she said. "Stand down. Leave. Now." There was a long, terrible pause. Then the enforcers backed away. The boarding clamp disengaged. The black vessel retreated into the stars like a shadow slinking from light. The shuttle lights slowly brightened. No one spoke. Lysa turned to me and sat back down, the crown dimming, folding into nothing. Just like that, she was Lysa again. She let out a breath. "I apologize for the disruption." I stared at her. "You're a queen." "Yes." "And you chose to sit next to me." "Yes." My laugh came out shaky. That's a terrible security plan." She smiled faintly. "That was the point. We talked after that. Really talked." She told me about the Compact, a vast alliance of systems ruled by hereditary sovereigns bound by ancient protocols. About councils and expectations and a throne that had felt heavy since the day it settled onto her shoulders. "I wanted to know who I was without it," she said quietly. "Even for a few hours." "So you hid your crown," I said. "And chose an empty seat," she replied. I hesitated. "Why me?" She looked at me thoughtfully. "You did not look at me like something to be gained. Or feared. You saw a person. That is rare." I didn't know what to say to that. When the shuttle finally docked at its destination, passengers disembarked slowly, many stealing glances at us. At her. I stood, slinging my bag over my shoulder. "Well," I said awkwardly. "This is me." She stood as well. For a moment, I thought that was it. A strange encounter. A story no one would believe. Then she said, "Walk with me." We moved through the terminal together. No guards. No ceremony. Just two figures among thousands. At the exit, she stopped. "My people will find me again," she said. "They always do." "And then?" I asked. She met my eyes. "Then I will have to choose." "Between what?" "Between the throne," she said softly, "and the life I glimpsed beside you." My heart pounded. "That's not a fair choice." She smiled sadly. "Leadership rarely is." She reached into her cloak and pressed something into my hand. A small, warm crystal, faintly glowing. "A beacon," she said. "If you ever wish to see me again, not the Queen, but Lysa, activate it." I closed my fingers around it. "And if I don't?" Then I will cherish the memory, she replied, of the human who offered me a seat, and nothing more. She turned and walked away, disappearing into the flow of travelers. I stood there for a long time. Weeks passed. Life returned to its routines. Cargo manifests. Inspections. Quiet shuttles. But the crystal remained warm in my pocket. Newsfeeds buzzed with speculation about the Aurelian throne. Rumors of reform. Of absence. Of a sovereign who delayed her return. One night, alone in my quarters, I took out the crystal. I thought of her laughter. Her exhaustion. The way she'd hidden her crown just to feel human, or whatever her equivalent was, for a moment. I activated it. The light flared. And somewhere among the stars, a queen smiled, and chose, once again, the empty seat beside me.